translate that into on the pitch. You're saying squad, you're saying this player's coming in. What does that actually translate to on the pitch? I know
Man United.
For Man United, you said they balance out the right wing. How does it create a more lethal Manchester United? What does Sancho and Varane coming in actually translate to Man United doing on the pitch?
What we were overly reliant on last year, especially away from home, is comebacks.
Right.
And that's because we usually concede first. Introduction of Rafael Varane means the goals we score away from home now are essentially to win the game, not to come back from a lead that we've already given away.
Right, okay.
And also Jadon Sancho coming in, I think he massively takes the pressure off Wan-Bissaka, because we've seen Wan-Bissaka, I think he's got better going forward over time at Man United, but Sancho takes the pressure off him. He almost says, okay, give me the ball rather than carry it yourself, because Greenwood quite likes to tuck inside and play as a second striker.
I disagree with that.
You don't think Greenwood plays like a second striker?
I think that's the problem, that he isn't playing as a second striker. I have a video / post planned.
I agree with you. I agree. He comes to Wan-Bissaka too much and almost says, look, take the ball, and then attacks defenders and almost gets in the box from there, creates it himself. I feel like Sancho is a creator.
Right.
Greenwood isn't a creator.
Right.
And so that's why he takes the pressure off Wan-Bissaka. Because Wan-Bissaka essentially says, like, look, me and Greenwood have to make something. Sancho almost is capable of creating something on his own.
So you're saying what that entails is you've got Varane, who should solidify the defence, and that translates to conceding less when we concede away from home, like you said, and have to come back.
Yeah.
And then you're saying on the right wing, it becomes a more Sancho attacks, Wan-Bissaka defence sort of, and it's more balanced in that sense.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I have a video / post planned where I'm going to delve into my opinions on Man United's right wings, so I won't go into it too much here.
Yeah.
But my problem with I do agree with you that Man United, well, I have them in second. And the reason why I think that is, without ruining my post / video for the full explanation, Wan-Bissaka is sort of like an underlapping, recently, for the last year, is an underlapping fullback. And I think that's because Ollie realised he was pretty much useless
When he's as far wide as he can be.
Because he collects the ball, and when Trent collects the ball, for example, in the same position, it's about threat. It's not about what he does exactly. It's about how much are the opposition scared of the player on the overlap. When Trent gets it, it's shit. We got to prepare for a cross. And there's a lot of press Trent. You have to. When Wan-Bissaka got it, when he first came in the first season, it was like, let him have the ball. He won't do too much. And I think Ollie realised that he had a passenger on the right side. So what he flipped that to was Wan-Bissaka underlapping, which meant the right winger, who last year was Greenwood, Rashford or Pogba mostly, becomes the exterior player, the player that is in Trent's role if he was to play Liverpool. Imagine Salah playing in Trent's role and Trent playing in Salah's role. It's completely...
Okay. Yeah.
So now what that entails is you've got a player in Wan-Bissaka who's running into the Salah spot, the right forward the right forward spot, who isn't going to get shots off. He's not a threat in that position.
Yeah.
I mean, he scored a goal against Newcastle where he scored from that right forward spot, but you're sort of negating the threat there. So there's no right forward half space spot. There's not a player there that's going to start shooting like Salah would for Liverpool. And then on the outside, you've got a Greenwood who has to now run past about 3 players to get close to having a shot. And he's also got Wan-Bissaka in the place who's congesting the area.
Yeah.
You've got Rashford who has to do the same. And what that's resulted in is Rashford playing right wing and just twatting crosses. I think you've seen that. And it's impressive, fair enough.
It's shown how much of a range of passing he has, but it's just not Rashford.
If he was in the right forward spot or like closer to goal, you'd get more shots off. And again, I said I didn't want to ruin the post, but I think I've gone into it now. And then you have Pogba as well, who's creative on the right hand side, who's not taking shots. And a stat that I wanted to mention, I think I'm going on a bit of a tangent here, but
Nice. It's good.
Salah, Liverpool's XG from the right is about 4.5. A StatsBomb did a report, and that's what the XG was from there. XG on a dribble, sorry. Right? So it's sort of like shot creating actions from the right wing.
Right.
Man United is like way down on like 2.8 StatsBomb.
Yeah, I'm not
So
surprised.
it's showing that when our players are dribbling off the right, we're not creating shots compared to the likes of Liverpool. And I think the reason why I put Man United second is similar to what you said with Sancho coming in. Whether Sancho goes off to the right and plays as the creative player, he's more well versed at dribbling to create a shot, even as the exterior sided player. And even if you put Wan-Bissaka back as the exterior sided player, Sancho is again more well versed as the inside player to create a shot. And I think that creates a stronger, more well balanced Man United.
It essentially opens up half the pitch.
Just one thing as well I wanted to ask about. You said about having Varane stops you having to come back in games when you're away from home. So does that result in you expect to see more control from United in those away games instead of having that? Because I think United's whole thing last season away from home was these counter-attacks that were just 4 passes goal. Like you just tear. It was like one end of the pitch and like 10 seconds goal.
The thing that worried me as well is that we'd almost concede just as fast.
Right. Okay.
And so it's like stupid mistakes we concede from, and we just think, oh shit, like we've conceded, might concede 2, but then that's always in the back of my head, like, oh, we'll come back, and we did. What I want is that control, like you said, from Varane. I don't want to concede first.
That's what I was saying. Do you think that's what it gives you more control?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think it also, like, again, on the pitch, I think it brings us to have the ability to play a higher line. Yeah. Because with Lindelof and Maguire, there's no pace to recover. Like, do you know how I was saying with Konate Konate and Van Dijk earlier?
And we did drop deep. Like,
we
seriously dropped deep.
I remember Gary Neville doing a piece on Sky Sports where we literally stood on the edge of our 18-yard box.
I know about. It's like he did it on the Liverpool game, didn't he?
And it was so frustrating. It's like sprint out. And I think, again, you play a higher line. Your players can now instigate a press. We've got really quick players to hit people when, say, if we do win the ball back on a press, we can hit people whilst they're weak.
Yeah.
And I think all this comes to United.
Yeah. And we saw in the Euros as well that we need to get Maguire as far up the pitch as we can because he's a good passer with the ball. Yeah. Like, for a centre half's go, he's a very good passer. And I feel like when we actually were so deep, we'd almost think, okay, he's got the ball now. What does he do? He passes to Luke Shaw.
Yeah,
he kind of has that like. I think there's 2 centre backs in the league that I'd say that are the best at it. Him and Matip at stepping in. Mm-hmm. And I think Harry Maguire is one of his best qualities. He's one of the best centre backs in world football at doing it.
It's just the perfect moment.
Head's always up, straight through, but he always makes a pass. So I think Varane allows him to have more freedom when doing that too, and I think that gives United a lot more.